Imagine a world before cities, before firelight, before language itself. 2.5 million years ago, the African savanna was not ruled by humans. It was ruled by predators. Yet here, a new kind of hominin was carving out an existence. They were small, clever, and armed with nothing but stone flakes and cooperation. These were Homo Habilis, the handymen, the ancestors who laid the foundations of human society. Homo habilis lived between 2.4 and 1.4 million years ago in eastern and southern Africa. Scientists gave them their name because their fossils were found alongside the first recognizably human-made tools. But their real significance is not just in the stones they chipped, it's in the way they lived together. By piecing together fossils, tools, and the patterns left at sites like Oldowan Gorge, researchers now believe Homo habilis formed the first truly social human communities. This is the story of what life looked like at the... Picture the African plains 2 million years ago, saber-toothed cats lurking in tall grass, giant hyenas patrolling at night, crocodiles wading in rivers. For a small-bodied hominin standing just over a meter tall, survival alone was impossible. Safety came in numbers. Fossil sites show clusters of bones, tools, and shelters, evidence that Homo habilis lived in groups. These were not vast tribes, but bands of perhaps 20 to 30 individuals, large enough to watch for predators, small enough to move quickly in search of food. Their group was their shield. Staying close meant sharing warmth, guarding children, and keeping sharp eyes on the horizon. When the day's foraging was done, Homo habilis did not wander aimlessly. They returned to central places, groves of trees, rock shelters, or, in some cases, rough stone circles that may have been the foundations of huts. These base camps were the earliest hint of home. Around the fire's glow, they likely ate, repaired tools, and rested. Archaeologists call this the home base hypothesis, and it marks a turning point. Life was no longer just about survival. It was about community. So what did these early humans eat? Their teeth tell us the story. Homo habilis had a varied diet: fruits, tubers, roots, nuts, and critically, meat. They were opportunistic omnivores. Cut marks on animal bones show that they scavenged carcasses killed by lions or leopards. With sharp Oldowan tools, they scraped flesh and cracked open bones to reach marrow, a rich source of fat and calories. Eating meat was revolutionary. The protein fueled their larger brains, and sharing the spoils bound the group together. But Homo habilis were not mighty hunters chasing mammoths. Evidence suggests they were more often scavengers, arriving at carcasses after predators had eaten. Still, they needed bravery and cooperation. Imagine a band driving vultures off a zebra carcass, using stone flakes to cut, while others stand guard against hyenas. At times, they may have trapped or hunted small animals, but their success came from teamwork, not strength. Unlike most primates, Homo habilis didn't keep food entirely to themselves. Archaeological evidence of bones transported back to camp suggests they shared selectively. Mothers and children were often the main recipients. Sharing food built alliances. A skilled scavenger who shared meat earned loyalty and status. In these small groups, food was not just nutrition, it was social currency. At night, the savanna was deadly. Fire may not yet have been fully mastered in their time, so Homo habilis likely sought natural shelters, caves, overhangs, or dense trees. Their anatomies still carried ape-like arms, meaning climbing remained part of their survival strategy. By day, they walked the plains. By night, they often retreated upward into branches for protection. In this mix of ground and tree life, we see a species balanced between past and future. Childhood was changing. Larger brains meant babies were born more helpless than before. Mothers could not raise infants alone while also foraging, so childcare became a group effort. Alloparenting, where siblings, Fathers and even unrelated females helped. Likely began here. Fossils suggest long childhoods, giving youngsters time to learn tool use and survival skills. Around the home base, children probably played with stones, imitating adults striking flakes. In their fumbling hands, culture was being passed down for the first time. One of the most moving clues comes from fossils showing individuals who lived with disease or injury for weeks. This means others must have brought them food and water. In a world where every calorie counted, caring for the sick reveals a spark of empathy. Homo Habilis were not only tool makers, they were caretakers. This was the dawn of compassion, a trait that still defines humanity today. Did they talk? The jury is still out. Their brains show slight development of regions linked to speech, but their throats likely couldn't form full language. Instead, communication was probably a mix of grunts, hand signals, and gestures. Imagine one pointing urgently to circling vultures, an unspoken signal that meat lay nearby. Teaching tool making also required demonstration, a skilled napper guiding a child's hands. In this blend of sound and gesture, the first steps toward language were being taken. Of course, life wasn't always peaceful. Groups likely argued over food or mates, but constant fighting was costly. Instead, Homo Habilis may have managed conflict through food sharing, grooming, or alliances, behaviors still seen in apes today. Fossil evidence shows little direct violence, suggesting cooperation was essential to keep fragile groups together. So what did an average day look like? At dawn, groups left camp, traveling in bands with stone tools carried in hand. Some dug tubers with sticks, others searched for fruit. Midday, they might scavenge a carcass, then carry pieces back. Afternoons were for tool making, striking flakes from cores, teaching the young. Evenings were for eating together, repairing tools, grooming, resting. Their days were simple but structured, and they reveal the beginnings of culture. The Oldowan toolkit was humble: sharp flakes for cutting, cores for chopping, and hammerstones for breaking bones. Yet this was a leap forward. Tools expanded what hands could do, turning scavengers into butchers and fragile primates into problem solvers. Making tools also created roles. Some individuals gathered raw stone, others shaped it, others taught. Technology was already fostering division of labor. When we step back, the real invention of Homo Habilis wasn't a tool, it was society. By gathering in groups, sharing food, protecting children, and caring for the weak, they created the blueprint for humanity. Every village, every city, every nation is built on this first fragile network of cooperation born 2 million years ago. From the cracking of the first stone flake to the laughter of children learning by imitation, Homo Habilis stitched together the elements of what it means to be human. They didn't have fire or language or art, but they had cooperation, compassion, and creativity. These qualities allowed them to survive in a world stacked against them and laid the foundation for everything that followed. So the next time you share a meal, teach a child, or care for someone in need, remember, those actions began not in modern hospitals or kitchens, but in the savannas of Africa 2 million years ago with Homo Habilis.